stop steps from launching, so you can speed up your UAT. So if you've got 20 steps, but you're only interested in testing one step, you can add a condition rule to stop all the steps from launching rather than deleting them from your definition. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tejal. Workday DevCon, June 21 to 24. It's for Extend, Prism, integrations, journeys, and more. And there's several speakers, the customer sharing movement, doing both a Women on Workday, Birds of a Feather, as well as a Boomerang, Birds of a Feather. There's 3 conferences in the Workday world, DevCon, Rising US, and Rising Europe. And so there's DevCon listed right there on the main Workday page. Kris just did this 5 minutes or so recorded in the Sharing Café before the show.
We all know business processes, right? I know it's a vital part of Workday, but I thought of putting together some of the key items that we often don't use, and it's a good reminder for all of us. There are certain things that can be used frequently to enhance our experience. So I'm going to start from the right. Effective dated, as you know, Workday business processes are effective dated. You can set up a future date and that date hits, the process becomes effective. The second one is a diagram. Some of us use it, some of us don't. So if you go to the related action or ellipsis within the business process, click view diagram, that gives you a graphical view of the business process workflow. And it's good for user guides and documentation. You don't have to use Visio and some other diagramming tool. You can straight away capture the screenshot. And as the process changes, you add approval, it changes as well. So it's a good feature to use it for documentation purposes. I know on the previous question that Ramesh, you asked, how do I know whether business process is a sub-process? This is a great report that if you haven't used, explore this business process config option, and it'll let you pick the all or one or more business processes. You run the report, it's Workday delivered. It gives you a report, a huge report that shows you a particular business process allows sub-processes, whether it can be approvable or cancelable, rescindable, can it be routed? Some we don't know whether certain process can have attachments, so you run the report and it tells you that particular business process can have attachments or questionnaires, helps text, and embedded analytics, which is related to worklets. I'll go through that later. So all of that can be available when you run this report. So check that out if you haven't already. Mass Operations Management, you can, a group of transactions can be rescinded related to a business process that can be advanced. Escalated, meaning going to the next step, skip a process within the step in business process. So it's commonly used for performance management. If you don't complete your employee evaluation, a certain date hits, the administrator will move it to the next step using MOB. So it's a commonly used process. Another one I want to share with you is enable attachments within a business process. As you know, when you execute a business process or you get an inbox item, you would have an option to attach a document that's part of the security policies within the BP. And within that, if it's attachable, then you can enable view, edit, and manage for certain roles. So that's a nice feature that's available part of the policy. Delegation, that you run this report, it'll tell you a certain business process can be delegatable. Embedded analytics, my favorite. A lot of us don't use it to the full potential. When you create a report, you make that embedded task in the within the output section of the report. Make sure it's worklet enabled, and then you can select embedded task. As soon as you select that report is available to add it as an embedded analytics within a business process. The commonly used one is during performance reviews, so the manager can see the last couple of years of that employee's reviews, comp ratio, whether salary increase, bonus paid, and all that, just by clicking on a little analytical icon. That's a very powerful feature. And another one that Workday came out 3 or 4 years ago, Request Framework. It's another set of business process. You can create your own business process and run it through a workflow. So what do? You copy that request business process into a new process and change it to a new workflow. A commonly used one I've seen in the past for request framework is a tuition reimbursement. You can have a questionnaire through a business process to collect, college-related classes from the employee, and it goes through manager approval. All that can be done through this custom business process.
First Thursday of every month. The sharing show is the third Wednesday. The first Thursday, we kind of planned this. The first week of every month on the Thursday is Workday Customer Networking. And then on the third Wednesday, of course, you're here now, the sharing show. So what happens here? Well, they have all these breakout rooms, tons of groups. I myself started or worked on starting several of these boomerangs, both for the technical and non-technical calc fields I did for almost a year every month. And now there's also Women on Workday group. So the next one, if you look on the right, is July the 7th, first Thursday of July. This brings us now to the Zoom breakouts. Stay in this room for Floyd from Tennessee for further discussion on the brainstorms. Kane, we're ready to wrap up.
Once again, thank you all for joining today. And all that's left to say is have a great workday.